I'm Jeremy Henderson, and this is Ugly Christmas Sweater, a strategic card game for 2 players. Set up, shuffle the 18-card deck, and deal 3 cards to each player. Then, take the top card from the draw pile and place it face up in the middle of the table. This is the start of your scoring row. In Ugly Christmas Sweater, you're going to be making an ugly Christmas sweater, but it has to follow a couple of rules. Here's an example of what your sweater might look like at the end of the game. It can be no more than 4 rows tall and 6 columns wide. The 2 rows in the center are the scoring rows. Only symbols that appear in those 2 rows will be worth points at the end of the game. But you'll only be allowed to score for them if you have a copy of one of those symbols in your control row. The row that is closest to you is your control row. The row that is closest to your opponent is their control row. On your turn, you will draw a card from the draw pile and add it to your hand. Then you must play a card from your hand to the sweater. You can play a card in either orientation, but never sideways, and at least one of the 2 symbols must touch an already revealed symbol in the sweater. Cards can be played anywhere as long as there is space for them, but you are never allowed to place a symbol in your opponent's control row. Finally, when placing a card, symbols are allowed to repeat in the same row any number of times. However, they can only appear once in the same column, so this placement would be illegal. Additionally, you can cover an existing symbol with a copy of the same symbol. So my opponent could play this card here, covering this red snowflake with this green snowflake. Color doesn't matter for this purpose, only the symbols must match. And since none of the symbols in this column are repeated, this is a legal play. The game ends after each player has taken 6 turns. At that point, you move on to scoring. Again, at the end of the game, only symbols that appear in the 2 scoring rows are worth points. You may only score them if you have a copy of that symbol somewhere in your control row. For example, I have this snowman in my control row, and there are 1, 2, 3 snowmen in the scoring rows, so that's 3 points. However, I managed to match both the symbol and the color of this snowman, so it's worth 2 points, making this snowman worth a total of 4 points. Repeat this process for every symbol in your control row. The player with the most total points wins the game. And that's Ugly Christmas Sweater, a strategic card game where you unravel your opponent's plans. Thanks.